Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Today news is Virgil van Dijk Liverpool contract latest, lying, claim, Saudi transfer stance and PSG talks. Virgil van Dijk is no closer to agreeing a new contract at Liverpool and will be leaving the club on a free transfer as things stand, though he still has another 2 months to thrash out fresh terms. Liverpool defender Virgil van Dijk is coming towards the end of his spell at Anfield, unless he can agree new terms with the club over a new contract. The Dutchman will become a free agent this summer as things stand, and Liverpool have just 2 months before they lose him for nothing. The centre-back is still regarded as one of the best defenders around, and the club will be frustrated to let him slip through their fingertips after his influential performances to help the team go 15 points clear of Arsenal at the top of the table. Van Dijk has featured 311 times for the Reds, scoring 26 times, and has won practically every trophy possible at Anfield as he closes on his second Premier League title. With no news coming either way about Van Dijk's future, Mirror Football has broken down his contract situation, what he has said about leaving Liverpool and clubs said to be interested. Van Dijk has looked the most likely to stay out of the trio of Liverpool players who are headed for free agency, and he teased there would be news soon that will set the record straight on his future either way. He was speaking to the media about the disappointment of losing the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle before being asked about whether he would sign a new deal. Previously he has refused to comment on speculation, but this time offered a tease that he might in fact commit his future to the club. "The end of the season there's going to be news," Van Dijk said. "As long as I'm fully committed and have my full focus on the task ahead, and I love the club, that's the main thing. That's who I am." Van Dijk hits out at liars. It's fair to say the calm statement Van Dijk gave on his future at Wembley was a far cry from the angry retort he gave after being pressed on whether he was staying after Liverpool's defeat to PSG. He gave a far more frosty response, which came just days before his new update after the Newcastle game, as he insisted he didn't know what would happen this summer and that anyone else who stated otherwise was a liar. "I've no idea," he said. "I still have no idea at the moment. Genuinely, I have no idea at the moment. Talks aren't on hold, nothing's on hold. I keep saying the same thing. Listen, there are 10 games to go and that's my full focus." Van Dijk speaks to PSG chief. Van Dijk must be getting increasingly irritated over constant rumors and speculation about his future, which only increased after he was seen speaking to PSG chief Nasser Al-Khelaifi after the loss to PSG. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Our second news is Alan Shearer admits shock at Thomas Tuchel call-up after urging England pick to retire. Newcastle legend Alan Shearer has admitted he was surprised to see Dan Burn called up for England duty by Thomas Tuchel. Days after joking with him about retirement, Alan Shearer admitted he was surprised to see Newcastle defender Dan Burn called up for England by Thomas Tuchel. The versatile 6 feet 6 inches brawler has emerged as a figurehead at St James's Park since returning to his boyhood club in 2022. Able to play centrally or on the left of defense, Burn has starred in all but one Premier League clash this campaign, but his crowning moment came during the recent Carabao Cup final against Liverpool. The 32-year-old brilliantly met a Kieran Trippier corner just before the half. Heading home, his goal would aid Eddie Howe's men in their 2-1 victory over the Reds, which ended a 70-year club wait for silverware. The smooth sailing is to continue for Burn, as 2 days before the showpiece, new boss Tuchel handed him his first 3 Lions call-up at any level, much to the amazement of fellow North East hero Shearer, who has previously joked with him about going out on top. Asked on the Rest is Football podcast whether any of Tuchel's England selections were perplexing, Shearer was quick to name the defender. "I was surprised to see Dan Burn in the squad," said the Premier League's all-time top scorer. "But when you look at his performances and everything else, his performance over the weekend in the cup final. It was a surprise, though." Yet, such surprise was in no way negative, as Shearer had previously revealed a conversation shared with Burn amid the Magpies League Cup celebrations, urging him in jest to hang up his boots on the back of the win, as he couldn't envisage things getting much sweeter. Where do we start with Big Dan Burn? I was having a pint with him last night, and I said, you might as well ing retire, man, added Shearer. I said, because the week you've had is not getting any better. When I said that, he replied, jokingly, I might just go, retire, on Friday at Wembley. The former Newcastle striker continued, the Newcastle players are all off to Dubai as a team, and I said to Dan, it's typical, you get called into the England squad, and you can't have 5 or 6 days break in the sun now. He said, you know what, I don't give a damn. He can't wait to get up with England. Receiving his first ever international call-up aged 32 was something even Burn admitted he never expected, and the Englishman came clean about thinking that Tuchel's phone call to confirm his selection was, at first, a scam. I thought it was a scam initially, that the lads were just trying to wind me up, said Burn. But soon after, I got a FaceTime call from the England manager, and I knew it was real. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Liverpool content. Our last news is Liverpool news. Reds suffer major injury scare as Jamie Carragher makes worrying claim. Liverpool will be back in action on April 2 when they meet Everton in a Merseyside derby clash, and Arne Slot will be keen to see his side put in a much improved performance. Liverpool will be hoping to bounce back from a disappointing week of results when they return to action after the international break. Arne Slot's side were knocked out of the Champions League and beaten in the Carabao Cup final in the space of just 5 days. However, they remain 12 points clear at the top of the Premier League and, with just 9 games left to play, should become champions for a 20th time. Slot, though, has repeatedly spoken about the need for his side to treat their final 9 games like finals, and that will start when they host rivals Everton in a huge Merseyside derby clash on April 2. Here, Mirror Football takes a look at the latest news and rumours from in and around Anfield. Liverpool have been handed an injury scare after Ryan Gravenberch pulled out of the Netherlands squad. Gravenberch had linked up with the squad for their Nations League clashes with Spain this month, but has now returned to Merseyside. The Netherlands said in a statement Gravenberch was still suffering from an injury sustained over the weekend. Liverpool, though, described it as a fitness issue, and said Gravenberch will be assessed ahead of their Merseyside derby clash with rivals Everton on April 2. Liverpool legend Jamie Carragher has shared his concerns over the futures of Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk, who are both out of contract at the end of the season. Van Dijk and Salah have almost come out and said they want to stay, Carragher said on the It's Called Soccer podcast, brought to you by Sky Bet. My feeling and worry is, it kept feeling like Salah and Van Dijk were winning the PR battle, because when Liverpool were top of the league, winning every game in the Champions League, talking about trebles, going to do this, going to do that. And in the last week, I hope this isn't the case, but maybe the people at the club are going, is this a little sign of things to come in the future? Is Salah being off form, or is this the future of Salah? Ibrahima Konate has been linked with the likes of Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain in recent weeks, but the Liverpool Echo are reporting that suggestions of a €60 million, £50.2 million, release clause in his contract are wide of the mark. Konate is in the final 18 months of his contract, and the report states that Liverpool are keen to agree terms on an extension with the defender in order to avoid a repeat of the ongoing sagas involving Salah, Van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Konate is currently away on international duty with France, where they are preparing for their Nations League clashes against Croatia. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumours, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.